If you are new to the channel, then subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for further notification. Okay students, let's welcome you all to a new series of this engineering math, that is complex variable. Again, like calculus, what I thought before going to the numericals of this topic, I thought I will give a brief intro that will be helpful for you to understand the theory, and while we are solving we can refer these theories. So I will be taking a very brief discussion on this complex variable. These lecture notes I am sharing with the link, so I will suggest you download it and take a printout before you start following the discussion. So in the lecture 1 we will be dealing with some introduction of basic complex numbers and analytic functions and CR equations. Okay, then let's start. So okay students, so if we see the complex variable, so if we start with what is complex variable, the variable which is in the form of z equal to x plus iy, where z is a complex number, real part and imaginary number, is known as complex variable. It is generally represented as z. Now for any function w, if it is a function of z, then it will have two real parts, one is u and one is v. Then it is known as a function of a complex variable. Example I have shown you. Suppose w is a function of, these are standard symbols, w always represented complex function by w. So these are standards. Z is a complex variable. Suppose w is a function of fz, and what is the function? Function is z square. So what is z square? Z is x plus iy. So if you take square, it is x square minus y square, because I square will get minus 2xy. So this becomes your u, this becomes your v. So this is the meaning of a complex variable function. Complex variable function will also have two parts like u and v. Now some of the notations I want to mention here. Suppose what is z minus z0 mod. What is z minus z0 mod? Z minus z0 mod is the distance between 2 points. Suppose this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. This is a point z0, this is a point z, and it is x0. There is a direct relation between complex number and your coordinate geometry. So this point you coordinate, you write x0 comma y0. This point you write x comma y. So what is the distance between these? X minus x0 whole square, y minus y0 whole square under root. So if you take mod also, that will be same, because real will be subtracted. So x minus x0 mod will be x minus x0 whole square plus y minus y0 whole square under root. So this is the distance between 2 points. Now if I fix this distance, now z minus z0 is fixed as r, then what all is represent? It will represent a circle. You can see this is a circle because your z0 is this point and z is somewhere. Suppose you have fixed z0 and you have fixed the distance. What will be the distance from here? In any direction the distance is fixed, 2 meters suppose. So it will represent a circle. So z can be anywhere in this circumference. So this is z, and the center is at z0 and the radius is r. So this will be a circle of center at z0 and radius of r. These are standard symbols, so I thought it will be good if I start from the scratch. So if I say z minus z0 is less than r, then I am referring to the interior of the circles, because my radius is less than r. So if the radius is less than r, that means I am going inside this. The distance is less than r. R is your up to this much, but I am moving here up to, so it is z minus r. So it is, that's why it is interior of the circle. And if it is more than r, suppose this is my circle, this was my r, now I am going here, so the distance is more than, you can see the distance is more than your r. So that's why it becomes exterior of the circle. Now the set of all points for which this z minus z0 is r is called the neighborhood of the z0. This you have to be careful, because neighborhood means I am talking about only interior portion. Suppose a point is z0, so we will make a circle. Suppose there is a circle of r, so anything inside that circle is the neighborhood of z0. So you can see that z0 is here and we are making circle of r. So everything inside this circle is neighbor of z0. So you can think the neighborhood. The persons who are sitting neighbor to it, that is the person who are sitting to z0 is obviously inside that circle. So that's why it is inside this circle. Now what is limit in our normal function? Limit the same as here in the complex also, limit z tends to z0. But in our normal functions, you can see in our normal functions when we are discussing limit, you used to say limit x tends to 0 fx, which was, when we say this limits exist, we are calculating left hand limit, right hand limit. You can recall what was left hand, limit x tends to a minus, suppose it is a, and it is limit x tends to a plus. So we are moving, suppose this is a point A, so we are moving from both direction, from left hand side also and from right hand side also, because left hand side is less than, that's why it is a minus, right hand side is plus, that's why it is a plus. So in that case there is only one direction x, so we can move only in two direction, either from left side or right side. But here z is in coordinate geometry, here z is somewhere here, z is somewhere here. So this z0, suppose you are here, so you can come directly, you can come through this road, you can come through, so there are so many ways you can reach here. So the paths are different here. To reach from z to z0 is different. Here to reach at A in this axis, what only two paths, either left hand or right hand. That's why two limits were there, only left and right hand. So same concept here, but here number of paths will be much more. So that's what I have written here. In all possible ways, you recall your left hand limit, right hand limit. In that only two possible ways were there, that is your left side and right side. But here there are number of possible ways, so you have to explore all the possible ways. If in all the possible ways you get the same answer, left and right hand both should similar, both should equal, so in all path both should be equal, then we say it exists and the value is W0. Now you come to continuity. Now it will be continuous when it was continuous, when your limit should exist, that is left and right, in all sides it should exist, and it should be equal to the fz0. You can recall that one, left hand limit, your that old calculus, right hand limit, that should be equal to f of a. Then the limit we say continuity. So that's what that is here. So it will be continuous if your limit exists, and that limit should be equal to fz0, the function of the value at that particular point. Now what was differentiability? You can again see your earlier calculus. Your differentiability was h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x by h. The similar here you will go for delta z, but again here delta z can be in for any movement in z. Suppose you are here, so any movement of z, delta z, it is not mandatory that you will go in x. You can go here, you can go here. There are so many ways you can delta z can move now. But in earlier class your x was in this direction, so delta x was fixed in this value only. So here delta z can move anywhere. So that's why you should be careful. So this one you can write it in this format also, f dash at h0. So if z tends to z0, so this is the new because you are at z0, so you are increasing by small amount. So new point is z minus old point divided by difference. Here also same. The difference, here the new point. See, old plus delta means new point. So new point is here z, and this is old divided by difference. So new point is z, because z is equal to z0 plus delta z. You are moving from z0 to a point minus original. So these are the classical definitions. Just I want to highlight the difference between that calculus and this calculus. That's it. Now some term you will heard in complex number variables. You have already heard. So I just want to recall, because you will be hearing all these terms in your questions. So you should not get confused what is this, or you should not get afraid of. So if I say analytic, your fz will be analytic function if it is defined and differentiable. Think, defined and differentiable. That means it should be defined also, it should be differentiable also at each point in the region R, the region that you are saying. Then it is known as regular or it is also known as regular or holomorphic functions. So it is defined and differentiable, it should be. So you think of something of that, your normal calculus, there was a differentiability. So here also the differentiable functions are known as analytical, but here not at point. It should be differentiable at each point on the region. If it is differentiable at each point, then we say it is analytic over that region. So analytic is simple that it is differentiable. As a layman, we will be using lots of layman words just to feel that, or just to remember some things. It's not actual thing, but we will be using some shortcut how to remember the formulas, how to easily we can remember it. But these are not actual facts. So these are the shortcuts to remember this one. So you can remember in that way. If it is differentiable, then it is analytic. Simple as it is. So for us it will work. For entire function, what is entire function? If it is said to be entire, if it is analytic everywhere in a finite plane. Suppose there is a plane given and it is analytic in the entire plane, then you will say it is an entire function. So it is in a finite plane. It should not be infinite. It is a finite plane. If it is analytic every point, that is at every point it is defined and differentiable, then you will say. Now next thing, what is the necessary condition fz to be analytic function? Analytic function, you know what is analytic. Analytic means differentiable. So if your fz is this one, That means if you are differentiating, you can see the differentiation definition I told you, you can, that del z you can move anywhere. Any route you can take. So suppose I want to take two routes. One route is in x direction, one route, you see first the formula, then we will see. What is the formula? Del u del x should be equal to del v del y, and del u del y should be equal to minus del v del x. This is from where it is coming. Just I will give a glimpse of this one so that you understand actually it is not coming from somewhere space. These are easy things if you understand some basic things. So because in the differentiation, what I told you, you can go in either directions, you can go in whatever way you can move. So its answer should be same, left hand derivative should be equal to right hand derivative, then it is a differentiable. You can recall your class 12 BA. So here also you can see, if I say my z was something like this, so z, so if I say, let me say I will move a little bit in this side only, in x side only. So I will be moving x side. So if I do differentiation, f z was u plus iv. So if I do the differentiation, f dash z will be equal to del u del x plus I del v del x. That's it. Okay. Now suppose if I move in, from where it is coming? From the definition itself. From the definition was, what was the definition? F, this was z0 plus del z minus f z0 divided by del z. Your del z was here simple del x, because you are moving in only in x direction. So it is simple del x. So once it is simple del x, so because you are moving in x direction, so this is remains same. Suppose if you want to move in y direction, then what you will do? Z0 plus del z minus f z0 divided by, instead of del z you will put del y. Now del y is I del y. This I will come because in y axis this is now imaginary axis, this is x axis. So if you move here, this is not a this is dx, but it is I dy. So if you move in y direction, this differentiation will become just a I will come in the denominator. So del u del y plus I del v del y, but an I will come in the denominator. You can see the difference is only here. So for this difference only, this del u del y, I, if you go from denominator to numerator, it is minus, and then I cancel del v del y. Now as I told you, the function will be differentiable, or it should be, it is analytical, means it should be differentiable. So your in all the sides, this is the way, in x direction I have derived it, and I have differentiated it, in y direction I have differentiated it. So both these should be equal. So if both these should be equal, you can see the real are equal. If you make del u del x is equal to, what is the real here? Del v del y. And what is the imaginary? Here imaginary is del v del x, and here imaginary is minus del u del y. So this becomes your Cauchy-Riemann equations, the famous CR equation. So these two are necessary condition. These two are not a sufficient condition. These two are necessary, means it should, minimum this thing should happen. So what is the difference between necessary and sufficient? Necessary means it should happen. Sufficient means if it happens, then it's all, it will be okay. But here it is not the case. It is necessary only. So you see this one, del u del x equal to del v del y, and del u del y equal to minus del v del x. So you remember these two. This Cauchy CR equation is very important. Now if you see your CR equation, now what is the sufficient condition now? The sufficient condition, that was necessary condition. So what is the sufficient condition? In sufficient condition, along with that CR has to be satisfied, that is necessary. And all your partial derivatives, that should also be continuous. So if they, it should not be something like that, del u del x is 1 by x minus 2, and del v del y is also is equal to 1 by x minus 2. Both are equal, but you can see at 2 they are not continuous, because at 2 there is a break point. So it should not be something like that. It should be continuous, but it should be defined. So these are the sufficient condition. So I think that's all for today. If you like the video, then press the like button, and please give your valuable comments in the comment section.